Remember how I said you can't ever predict anything that happens on the originals? After tonight's episode, that's why. Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is my review for the originals, Season 2, Episode 18, Night Has 1,000 Eyes, and oh my god, this episode was the best episode of the season by far. Maybe the best episode of the entire show. I mean, this episode was truly all kinds of epic, all kinds of awesome. I loved everything that was going on in this episode. There was so much shit in this episode. So much went down in this episode. And the big thing that that happened in this episode, I've been looking, honestly, they said it's been something that has been inevitable all season. I'll talk about it, though, and I really loved everything about this episode. This episode felt like a season finale at points, definitely, and I love it about this episode. Let's just get into it because it was amazing. So, Hayley and Jackson are walking through the streets of New Orleans looking very normal, and I like that they're just trying to be a normal couple, but here's the thing, they'll never be normal. Even though they want to be normal, they're never going to be a normal couple, and I understand that Hayley, wants to have a normal life with Hope, but that's never going to happen. You can just tell that it's really, really superficial. Just the way they're talking, everything, it just seems really superficial. So, after they tip a violinist on the road, she begins playing a very somber song, and they begin receiving very strange looks. And we realize that Dahlia has possessed the bodies of those around them, and just before any harm can be done, even the body of Jackson, for a little bit she's, in the body of Jackson, and just before any harm can be done, Klaus swoops in, and that I thought was insane when we saw that, but I thought that was pretty awesome. So, back at the compound, Klaus is obviously pissed off at what's happened, and basically makes sure that Hayley knows how upset he is by scolding her for leaving the safe haven, because he told her straight out, don't leave that safe haven, stay there. And I understand Hayley doesn't really want to listen to Klaus, but he gave her good advice. The best thing to do is to stay in that safe haven, or Dahlia's coming after her. I mean, she doesn't want Dahlia to come after Hope, so why are you doing this? I don't understand that. So, basically, we see, and I love that Elijah's like, alright, children, break it up. I thought that was really funny. And then Freya is then called upon to create a tonic that will prevent Dahlia from using her charm or anyone of the close family. So, the thing is, though, I don't really trust Freya right now. After that huge reveal we got with Freya last week, with her turning against Klaus, I really didn't know what they were going to do with Freya here. I didn't know if we were supposed to trust her. I didn't know if they were going to make her, a villain. I didn't know if they were just going to make her against Klaus. But this episode is kind of like a family reunion, and I'll talk about why. But, the only person that wasn't in this episode that was part of the family is Cammy. And Cammy, I don't have a problem with them not giving Cammy a lot to do because she's mortal, but, Cammy's not really involved with this right now. So basically, what we see is that, basically, Klaus refuses to take this potion and lets the others know that Dahlia is preparing for battle, and he doesn't trust, he doesn't trust Freya one bit. He doesn't believe her with this potion. He doesn't think that this potion is a good thing, and she knows that Dahlia is coming after him, that she's going to prepare for battle, and Elijah agrees and says that they need to find another safe haven that she could not think of, because that's the main thing here, is if they find a safe haven, Dahlia won't come after them. However, Dahlia, we see already, is extremely powerful and extremely threatening, and we've already seen that. So, Klaus agrees to task all the others. However, he vows to take the proactive approach and seeks to take Dahlia out before she takes the team out. So, he decides to pay Davina a visit, and I loved seeing Davina and Klaus actually respect each other in this episode. And he tries to charm her for help. What he says is really weird. He's like, I don't know many teenage girls that watch graveyards. And I'm just like, that's not making her feel better. That's just creeping her out. Like, seriously, that's just creepy. All that Klaus is doing, that's just really fucked up and really creepy. So, basically, he wants Davina to help him find Mikael, who has been brought back by Freya, and when Davina refuses, Klaus thickens the deal with the remains of his brother Cole, because basically that's why she doesn't want to help him, because she's still grieving over Cole. She doesn't know how to move on after that, and I can understand that. I mean, she really was attached to Cole. Cole, was great for her, and they really had a great bond, and now he's gone, she really doesn't know what to do, and I like what Klaus says, that he makes her this deal that if she helps him with this, then he's going to find a way to try to bring Cole back from the dead, back to life, and she agrees, and I like that he also told her that he's hurting as well. She's not the only one that's hurting with Cole, he's hurting as well, because, but he's gotten over it, and she needs to get over it. And I really like that advice they told me, because it's true, she does need to get over it. And I understand that she was really attached to Cole and everything, and I have said before, I really like them as a couple. But I don't know if there's really a way to bring him back from the dead. I just don't really know if that's possible at this point. So, basically, Aidan and Josh lay in bed cozily when it's interrupted by a call from Klaus. However, he lies to Josh and says that it's Jackson calling. Now, of course, we know that Klaus and Aidan are working together. So I was interested in seeing how Aidan was going to keep this from Josh. And basically, Klaus tells Aidan that he can't trust Jackson because his body was compromised by Dahlia, and he needs Aidan to be his eyes and ears. Now, I can understand what Klaus is saying, because if Jackson was more powerful, that would not have happened. And Aidan, that probably is not going to happen because Aidan is simply more powerful than Jackson. And I've said it before. Do I think that Aidan should take over for Jackson? Yeah, Jackson is a good leader, but he's so focused on Hayley that it might just be time for Aidan to become the new leader. So I really love this storyline, and I really like where it's going. Basically, Jackson, in the meantime, is feeling into the guilt for letting Dahlia get into his head. He feels really bad about it, and he tells Hayley that he can feel Dahlia, and she's pure darkness, and Jackson proposes that Hayley, Hope, and the pack run away and by themselves sometimes so they can figure out how to take out Dahlia. But Hayley is very concerned about Elijah, and I mean, I understand this. I understand what she's saying. I understand that Jackson wants them to, have a great family life. And, I mean, Klaus wants that too. But she's really concerned about Elijah, Klaus, and the rest of the Michelson family because they are her family. They're part of her family. They'll always be a part of her family. And she's always going to be concerned about them. And I understand. I know some people have said that Hayley's been really annoying lately. But I understand where she's coming from here. I mean, she just wants to make sure that her family's okay. She doesn't want to do this without her family by her side because they mean the world to her, so I can understand what she's saying. So Klaus knows that Josh and Aidan are in love, and he's been entrusting all of his information with Davina, and I thought that was interesting. He revealed that from her, and Davina sees that Klaus's actions are actually out of pure love and asks what it is to feel, and I loved this interaction because Davina's always thought of Klaus as just this killer that has no remorse whatsoever, but now she's seeing him as he truly is, that he truly does care. He is doing this to protect his daughter, and you can see that Davina actually really does want to help him, and I was surprised how easy it was for her to do that, but it really worked really well, and the thing is that he's not faking any of this. This is how he is feeling. He's just getting Davina on his side, and it worked perfectly. And basically, they talk about, she asked him a very good question. I like it she asked him that, and asked him what it feels like to be one of the others. And I thought that was a really good scene because he is really one of the others. I thought that was a really good scene. And just then, Mikael arrives, and Klaus proposes that the two of them join forces to take out Dahlia before she gets to Hope. So we kind of have this really cool team going on with Mikael, Davina, and Klaus. And I'm just like, okay, we're definitely going to reunite the family. Hayley and Jackson are going to be involved. Elijah's going to be involved somehow. They're all going to be involved somehow. Freya's going to be involved, and I was very interested in seeing how this plan was going to work, and I love seeing Mikael again. I really love what they did with Mikael in this episode, and I just loved it. So Elijah, Marcel, and Josephine find a place in Algiers that served as a neutral ground for all kinds, and they ask her to cast a spell on the place to make it a safe haven from any harm, because of course they need a safe haven, and that's where their safe haven is. So Josephine declines to get in the middle, and Elijah threatens her with becoming an enemy, and Josephine says that the most she will do is a traditional blessing combined with a disruption spell to ward off evil, and I think that's a good idea overall, what she wants to, ward off the evil, but they do need a safe haven, because if they don't have a safe haven, then Dahlia's coming after them. I understand it's understandable, but they need to find a safe haven. So Klaus and Mikael sit down and discuss their new alliance. Now this is a really good scene because, they're really talking about what they want to do here, and you can see that Michael's being really hostile. He's thinking of all these, really torturous acts, but Klaus just wants to focus on the common enemy. Michael's just thinking about, torturing her and things like that and killing her, but Klaus just wants to focus on the common enemy, and you can see that Mikael hasn't changed. He definitely has not changed. He's the same man he was, even though, here's why Klaus wants him on his side, because he's desperate at this point. Klaus needs 1,000 people on his side. I've said it before, the only people that can take down Dahlia are the people that you least expect, like Mikael and Freya. They're going to take down Dahlia, and having Mikael on their side is probably the best thing they could do, even though Mikael and Klaus don't get along, and Mikael, doesn't really respect Klaus, and Klaus, I don't think, really respects him. They do need to, I like that they did work together. I thought that was really good. So, basically, Klaus just wants to focus on the common enemy, and Klaus tells Mikael that if they win, both their daughters will be free, and if they lose, Mikael can bask in the fact that Klaus got what he deserved all along. And honestly, that's good for Mikael either way, because of course, Mikael wants, his daughter to be safe. He wants, he wants Rebecca to be safe and everything, because, Rebecca's trapped in that body, and that's why he's back, because he wants to save Rebecca. But, if Klaus would be able to get Hope back, but if they lose, Mikael will know that, basically he got what he wanted from Klaus, that Klaus gets nothing, and that's always what he wanted from Klaus. He always thought Klaus is this terrible person, and seeing Klaus get that would just bring a joy to his face. So I really think that Klaus really did a good job with negotiating there. That really is a great plan. I thought that was really good. So Freya and Rebecca change a spell to, not change a spell, they channel a spell to help Jackson when Rebecca realizes that Freya's been the one helping Dahlia, and Freya's in complete disbelief. She says she had no idea, and I was like, seriously, Freya, you're going to pretend like you don't know what you're talking about? And Rebecca's forced to make the decision to cast Freya away because of the dangers her presence brings to all of them. And that was the best thing to do. I mean, you can't really trust Freya. I understand she's really powerful, but she's working against Klaus, okay? Even though she's working with you guys, she's working against Klaus, and it's a matter of time before she works against everyone. It just seems like that's what was going to happen there. So Klaus says that they need to save. Klaus and Mikael continue on to argue who's the most ruthless, and as Mikael questions him on why he should trust him, Klaus says that they need to save the lives of the ones who see them as more than monsters. And I thought that was a really good line, because it's true, they aren't monsters. Klaus is not a monster. Klaus is a man who will do whatever it takes to protect his family. I've said it before. That's what Klaus is. Yes, he's done some very unforgettable shit in the past, but he is a man that will do anything to protect his family, and Mikael is a monster, okay? Let's just say it right now. Mikael's a monster. There's nothing you can say where Mikael's not a monster, but Klaus is not a monster. So I really like that scene, because not everyone does see Klaus as a monster. I mean, Hope will never see Klaus as a monster. Rebecca doesn't see him as a monster. A lot of people don't see him as a monster. I thought that was really good overall. Even Davina's starting to see it, which I love seeing. And Davina's starting to realize that he does have a heart, which I thought was really good. So basically, just then Dahlia sends them a message causing the two to jump into their newly developed partnership. And when that happened, I was like, oh shit, Dahlia's coming. And here we go. Freya walks down the streets of New Orleans, and there is Dahlia. And oh my god, Dahlia, this is the biggest threat the originals has ever had. She is the best villain they have ever had. She's so creepy. She's so controlling. I love how manipulative she is. The actress that played Dahlia gave an amazing performance. She is such an awesome villain. And basically, the second that Freya meets Dahlia, she looks, basically Dahlia's already dissected Freya's plan that has been backfiring ever since she tried to help Rebecca. So she's not going to help her with Rebecca's plan, obviously. And Freya's scared of her faith, and Dahlia promises her that she will beg to be a part of their family once again. And of course, Freya wants nothing to do with her, because Freya is terrified and everything. And we see that Freya's story here, it was true. This is exactly what happened. That Dahlia, I like seeing that we saw that Freya's story was true, because we were wondering for a while if it was, and this just shows us very subtly that Freya's story that she told Klaus and, Elijah about Dahlia, basically giving her all those powers and killing her lover, that was all true. That all happened, and we see that here, and you really see what Freya's been through, and you honestly feel really bad for Freya. I felt bad for Freya in this scene. I definitely did, and basically, Elijah and Hayley are bickering over the handling of Freya, and he eventually tells Hayley and Rebecca that they will be taking a trip to Algiers, and Elijah and Rebecca will stay behind to wait for Freya if she returns, because they don't really know if they should trust Freya, and I like that. That's probably the smart thing to do. I mean, wait for, Freya. We don't really know if we can trust her right now, so the best thing to do is to just wait and see what happens. So Davina is now aware that Klaus and Mikael are working together, and she agrees to cast the binding spell to create the most dangerous weapon that Dahlia has ever seen. And I thought that was awesome, because as I said before, Davina is one of the only people that can take down Dahlia. She's a witch, and Dahlia is a witch, and that's the only way she can do that. And also, I love the part where Dahlia referenced Wicked Witch of the West, because honestly, she kind of reminds me of the Wicked Witch of the West. It was pretty awesome. They ask Davina to do them a favor, in which Klaus promises to live up to his end of the bargain, and she looks desperate to get Cole back, and at this point, she doesn't care about Mikael, Klaus, or Dahlia, or anyone else. She simply wants to bring back, Cole. That's what she cares about. She wants to bring back Cole. And I can understand why, but And I understand that she doesn't care about Mikael or Klaus or Dahlia. She wasn't connected to them. Cole was who she was connected to, and it was a real love. And I really feel like this is going to break Davina. Honestly, I'm very worried for her. If she keeps just focusing on Cole and nothing else, it's going to prove to be her downfall. And it's not going to end well for anyone if she keeps thinking this. I mean, I understand she misses Cole, but you need to get over him. You do. I understand that you're in love with him, but you need to get over him. So Freya visits Elijah and tells him that she has seen Dahlia and that she's going to strike tonight, and she begs Elijah to help her save her family, and he grants her his help. And meanwhile, Klaus and Mikael arrive at the church where Dahlia awaits them, and this scene was fucking amazing, I have to say. This scene almost reminded me of Game of Thrones. I've talked about this before. When the originals have battles, they are like Game of Thrones epic. This scene reminded me of a Game of Thrones scene. It was so awesome, and I loved it. Because basically, she's standing tall and unafraid of the two as she welcomes in an army of her own to fight Mikael and Klaus. They tear through her army, ripping them apart, and the army, though, is a lot more powerful than they anticipated. They're really powerful. I mean, they're a really strong army, and I thought it was really cool that we saw that, you know, they're doing whatever they can to take down this army. This scene right here felt like a season finale. It really felt like something we'd get in the finale, which really makes me think, what the hell are we going to get in the finale? Like, how can you top this? Seriously, this is a full-on brawl between, like, Klaus and Mikael and all them, and who would have thought these two would ever work together? And I just thought this was amazing to watch them just take down all these, you know, the whole army one by one, but it's not working. You know, they think the army's a lot more stronger than they thought it was, and I thought that was just an awesome scene, and I love that scene. It was so awesome. So Aidan approaches Jackson, who praises him for always being loyal, and he trusts Aidan to help him get Hayley and Hope away from the city. And Aidan agrees, and Jackson relinquishes his leadership so that Aidan can be in charge while he and Hayley are gone. So I like that he did that because Aidan is the best leader, but I was kind of worried that, you know, he was going to turn against Jackson, because it seems like Aidan wants what's in Josh's best interests. Josh and Aidan, you know, they're together, and he's going to do what's in Josh's best interests, and Josh then runs into Aidan and approaches him about lying to him in the morning about his phone call with Klaus, and tries to reassure Josh that he has everything under control, but Josh persists, and Aidan has to confide in Josh for the right answer. So Mikael and Klaus manage to get past Dahlia's army, but when it's time to get to Dahlia, she flexes her magic, renders them without their weapons, and basically that was just awesome when we saw that. And she's just like, I have a lot more weapons for you, and just Dahlia is such an evil presence, and she's such a menacing presence, and they did it so well here. I mean, just, this could have turned out really badly, just bring her in this part of the season, because you knew Dahlia was coming. I didn't know when she was coming, but bring her in now was the perfect time to bring her in. I mean, they were preparing for her, and now they know she's coming, and it was just such an awesome scene to see, and I love that. So basically, Jackson is looking for Hayley and finds her and Baby Hope ready to go with him and escape Dahlia, because, of course, you know, they want to go to that safe haven. And Hayley seems ready, but asks Jackson if he really thinks it's the best idea. And honestly, I understand what she's saying. And again, she wants to be there for her family. She wants to make sure that, you know, Klaus, Elijah, she wants to make sure they're all okay, because she cares about them. You know, Marcel, she wants to make sure all of them are okay, and she just doesn't really want to leave. I could not see Hayley just leaving her family. I really couldn't see that. Yes, I understand she's in love with Jackson, but I can't just see her leaving Elijah and Klaus. I mean, they are a family. They will always be your family, and you need to stay loyal to your family. So Klaus and Mikael, in the meantime, are suffering at the hands of Dahlia, and it's so brutal to see what Dahlia is doing. Just then, Freya actually comes to their rescue to rescue them, and admonishes Dahlia for using her. And Elijah joins in the fight and heals his brother, who lunges at Dahlia, but she vanishes in the air. So it's to be continued. And I love that Dahlia didn't die in this episode, because if they killed off Dahlia in this episode, there'd be nothing else to do this season. Nothing. I mean, you'd have Davina grieving over Cole, but that'd be the whole season. And I'm very happy that they didn't kill her off. I'm happy that they're keeping her around, because that's awesome. And I thought that was an awesome scene, and just that whole scene felt like a season finale, and I absolutely loved it. It was awesome. So Marcel arrives to take Hayley and Hope to Algiers. However, they are long gone trying to escape Dahlia, and Aidan is stalling, and it looks like he's going to betray Jackson, and it's understandable why. He wants to do what's in Josh's best interests. So Marcel arrives before Jackson and Hayley could get any further, and they are forced to follow him to Algiers. and I'm just wondering, are they actually going to go there? And the Michaelsons' weapon against Dahlia is destroyed, as she tells them that if they give her the child, they will live. If they don't, they will continue to suffer at her hands. So they basically have no choice but to give her hope, but obviously they're not going to do that, so... And it just shows, again, how willing Klaus is to protect his daughter. He's going to do whatever he can. And honestly, it could end up getting him killed. It really could. I don't think Klaus is going to die, but he's getting a torture definitely this season, and some pretty crazy shit's about to happen to him. But honestly, I love seeing that because it just shows how Klaus is just a family-first kind of guy. Klaus is always family-first. He's always looking out for his family. He's doing everything he can to protect his family, and that's something I've always admired about Klaus, something I will always love about Klaus, is just how much he wants to protect his family, how much he cares about his family. I just love seeing that side of Klaus. I just love seeing it. So, Aidan and Josh are relieved that their plan worked, and Aidan is beginning to regret his allegiance to Klaus, and Josh and Aidan are now even closer than they've ever been before, and they vow to figure out the entire mess out together, and Aidan really has a difficult decision to make. Does he want to ally with Klaus, or does he want to ally with Jackson? Obviously, it seemed like he turned against Jackson, so that's done. But now that he is doing this, he doesn't really know if he should, regret his allegiance to Klaus. And honestly, his allegiance to Klaus is a good thing. I understand what Klaus is saying. Do I think that it's the right thing? I don't really know. But I do understand what Klaus is saying, and I think that he should definitely think more carefully about this. He definitely has a very big decision to make, and I'm interested in seeing what he ends up choosing, because I think that could be really interesting, and we'll see how that storyline goes overall, because I really don't know where that's going to go, but we will see what happens there, because I thought that was a really well done scene, and I really like that. So... we then see that Rebecca greets the rest of her family as they fill her in on their defeats, and, they're really upset that they were defeated, but they're hopeful. They're hopeful that they can fix all of this, and Klaus disagrees that they were defeated, while Mikael disagrees, and I like that they're going back and forth about this, and Freya is completely upset that they have used up all of their weapons, because she really wanted to help them, and honestly, I feel like Freya really wants to help them now. It seemed like Freya really cares about them now, and while I don't think she initially cared about them before, I think she just wanted to, manipulate them. Now I think she truly does. But things didn't get out of hand when Klaus attacks his father and begs him to know, and I love this scene. This scene I thought was amazing, because honestly, Klaus had to say this, okay? Mikael hasn't changed, and Klaus was kind of just avoiding him, and I love what Klaus did here. Joseph Morgan's performance in this scene was absolutely amazing, and I loved it, because he's saying to his father how, why has nothing changed? Why have you always hated me? Why have you despised me the whole time? And Mikael says he has no explanation, that he just did, and Klaus asks him if those are his final words, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And Mikael's apologizing to Freya, and just as he's going to tell her he loves her, Klaus drives a stake into him, and Mikael bursts into flames, and I, screamed at this part. I was so surprised that Klaus killed Mikael, and basically he says it's so all they can have, more Viking ashes, and that was fucking crazy. Now, I can say this, guys. I saw this coming. I did see this coming. I knew at some point Mikael was going to die, because, think about it, throughout the whole season, they've had these huge fights, and they've just been continuing throughout the season. This made Klaus reach his breaking point. This was, Klaus was just like, I'm done. And I understand he wanted to ally with Mikael, but now that didn't work, I mean, obviously it's not going to work. What's the point of allying with Mikael? If Mikael's just going to be a dick, and is just going to yell at his son the whole time, there's no point in allying with Mikael, so the best thing to do, honestly, was to kill him. And Freya, you can see a look on her face, she has no idea what's going on, but Freya doesn't know the half of it. She doesn't know any of what happened between Klaus and, Mikael, so... I really feel like Freya, I think Freya, I don't think she should see this as Klaus being a monster. She should see this as, she should understand why Klaus did this, because I totally understand why Klaus did this. Honestly, I'm happy that Klaus did it. Klaus actually had the balls to kill Mikael. Who would have thought Klaus would have killed Mikael? Because it just seemed like Klaus was going to let Mikael live. But no, he killed Mikael, and I'm very happy he did that, because... I really like Mikael. I thought Mikael, was a really awesome character, but he was being a real dick in this episode, and he hasn't changed at all, and if there's no point in having him change, then what's the point of allying with him? You have to kill him. It shows that you have to kill him, and again, it just shows what he wants to do to save his daughter, and I love that. So, Josephine approaches Dahlia toward the end of the episode, and Dahlia fixes her hands so that she could play violin again, and Dahlia says that she must use Josephine, who has no choice but to give in to Dahlia. Josephine plays one last tune before she's killed by Dahlia for her power, and that's how the episode ends. So, clearly, Dahlia is very strong, force to be reckoned with. I love Dahlia's character, But what an amazing episode this was. By far the best episode of the season. Lots to talk about. Okay. So, let's talk about Dahlia. What do I think is going to happen with Dahlia? Dahlia is building up an army. It's clear that she's building... I mean, she's built up that huge army, but she's getting more people on her side. I feel like what she's going to do, she's going to do what she did with Josephine. She's going to get them on her side, but then take their power and kill them, because she really is that powerful. And I love how powerful Dahlia is, because compared to Mikael, Dahlia, is so much more powerful than him. And if you compare Dahlia to Mikael, Mikael is nothing compared to Dahlia. I mean, Mikael's really strong, yeah, and he can kick somebody's ass, but that's really it. He's not as strong as he thinks he is, and just seeing him, take down Dahlia, I thought was awesome, and I love that we, just seeing Dahlia be so powerful and everything, and now that Mikael's gone, I mean, it's going to be even harder now to take down Dahlia, and I think the only way to do it is for Davina and Freya to work together, because now that Freya's on their side, I think Davina and Freya, they have to work together. I really hope that, Klaus can tell Freya why he did what he did, because Freya seemed really freaked out, and of course she's against Klaus, but I feel like Davina understands why Klaus did it. I totally think that Davina understands. Davina went through a real big transformation this episode. I understand she doesn't really care much about them. She definitely cares more about getting Cole back, but is this actually going to happen? Is there a way to actually bring Cole back from the dead? I'm really not sure. I mean, at this point, I don't really think that's on anyone's mind. I mean, it should be to Davina, like, that's the most important thing ever, but it's not on anyone's mind right now. She needs to understand that it's really not on anyone's mind. It's just really bad timing. It's not really that it's bad what she's asking. It's just the timing. The timing is really bad. They're trying to focus on, protecting Hope, and really resurrecting Cole is the least of their worries. I'm sorry, Davina. I feel sorry. I do feel bad for Davina, but it really is the least of her worries. So that's really all I can say there. Aidan and Josh. What is Aidan going to do? Is Aidan going to ally with Klaus, or is he going to ally with Jackson? What do you think is going to happen there? Hayley and Jackson, are they actually going to go to this safe haven? I mean, they were really hesitant about it, and I can understand if Hayley doesn't want to go there, because, of course, she's worried about leaving her family. How's Jackson going to react to this? I don't really know. We'll see what happens. I think that's going to be a very interesting storyline to see what happens there. And then I guess the only other quick thing is, do you guys think that, I guess my only other question is, what happens now? Like, who else can they get to join their army? I really don't know. Who else is left? There really isn't many people left. I mean, you have Marcel, you have Klaus, you have Davina, Freya, Rebecca. They have to all work together now, and there has to be a way to get them to work together, and I really hope that they can get them to work together, because that's the only way to take down, that's the only way to take down Dahlia. If they want to take down Dahlia, they have to work together, and they need to understand that the best way to do that is to work together, and I love that. So overall, guys, as usual, amazing episode, best episode of the season. Also, guys, if you're wondering why this episode was late, fucking baseball, that's why. Because the CW had on baseball, and I was really pissed off, because I don't want to watch Gotham live, obviously. Gotham is not a show you watch live, ever. I'm sorry, but it's not. I never am going to watch Gotham live, like, ever, probably. I didn't want to do that, so I was just like, I'll wait, and that's why the episode's up later than it was. That's why this review's up later than it was supposed to be. I'm sorry about that, guys. I wish it was up late. I wish I would have gotten it up, earlier, but I wasn't able to. But that's my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys saw this episode. Overall, as I said, best episode of the season. Absolutely love this episode. And I'll see you guys in my next video, which is going to review for Bates Motel. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.